Yeah, man, we're in the building. We're in the building. We're in the building. All right, folks, how y'all doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome back to the Tim Black Show, man. And this is the most dangerous channel in politics in America. I believe that. That's our new tagline, and we live up to it every time. So, this is a special show because I have a special guest, my brother, Dr. Musa Abdullah is going to join me. We're going to have a conversation about the government shutdown, man. And with no further ado, let me get my brother in here from all things education official. My brother, Doctor, great doctor's in the house.
All right.
There he is.
How we doing? How we doing today? How's everybody? A good brother. How are you today, sir?
My brother, Doc, I'm great, man. How you feeling, family?
I'm here, man. Look, I'm happy. You know, some things are looking up, some things are looking down, as we will discuss, but we are here. I'm good. I'm glad to be in your company, brother. Man, I appreciate you. And you are true. This is one of the most dangerous broadcasts on the planet. I know people are hating you right now.
you know what good? You know what that means? We doing our job, brother. We doing our job.
Yes,
hey, man,
sir.
I'm honored to have you again back to return as a featured guest, man. That's dope, brother. I'm glad you reached out and let me know about your schedule, man. Doc's got a lot going on. Doc, tell him about this special event that's happening with the young king.
Which one, brother? You got to bring me up to speed.
Oh, I'm talking about your son.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Listen, because I thought you were with my students. I didn't know it. I'm like, okay. Well, my son, he's actually, he's going on a cultural exchange to Ghana, Accra, because he was moved into a special group called Shakur, the Shakur group. He's an honor student. He's in the 8th grade. He's reading on a 12th grade level. He's doing all A work. He made the honor roll, the silver honor roll. And because he did so well, they selected him to be a part of the cultural exchange in February 11th through the 20th, I believe. Wow. And I am, if you will be so inclined, I do have a GoFundMe to help fund it. It's $4,500. We put our little monies in, but we always take money from the community to assist. He'll be going with about 10 other young men and 5 staff members from the great school Eagle Academy for Young Men of Ocean Hill, located in Brooklyn, New York. So that's where he'll be going in February. And any help will be greatly appreciated if you're so inclined.
Absolutely, man. When this thing goes live, man, I got moderators, I think, because I'm doing a day show, but I will definitely get that link put in the description so people can go and contribute. I definitely contributed to it, man. I'm going to contribute again. We got to get my brother, the young king, up to that mark, that benchmark we need to get him at to make sure everything is straight so he can go partaketh in that knowledge.
I do appreciate you, brother. Like I said, I believe anything, all little drips fill the bucket, brother. I don't care how much it is. I had somebody send me $5. I was just as grateful as the person who sent me 50. So it doesn't really matter, brother.
You know something, man? That's how I feel too, brother. So, man, I had someone send me $2. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And it was through the mail because I got a P.O. box, right?
Oh,
it was $2 actual dollars.
$2.
And I was like, you know what? And I said, you know what, though? I bet this person didn't have a lot of money and they did this anyway.
That's right. And they took time.
Who's walking around with singles, Doc? You know what I'm saying?
Who's going to get an envelope? Mail it. Got to go get a stamp. Ain't nobody standing in line. You're going maybe to the store to get a stamp if you have one. Then you got to go to the mailbox. Right. So that was work to get that $2, brother.
Exactly.
That was work. Yeah.
I was thinking, man, it had to be one of our OGs, man, one of our real OGs, one of our vets, man. And I said that touched me, man. That they would go through the hassle for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man. Go through the, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, man, it's a task.
Yeah.
To do the old school thing, put pen to paper, write me letters with actual paper, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It just tells you a different way, fam.
Man, I tell you, I was talking to you a little bit earlier, man. And I first of all, I like to say, I'm one of your biggest fans. I'm one of the Wolf Pack, and I love what you do. I really appreciate what you do. And, me just starting, I've only been on around like 2 years. And, sometimes I get that space where I look at people like you and I'm like, man, look at the engagement. I love getting into your comment sections on TikTok, on YouTube. I love engaging with the people and talking. And I always say, man, I wonder if I'm making any level of impact. Definitely not the same level of impact you're making, but I just wonder if I'm making some impact when it comes to the education of children, particularly Black children, but children in general, and helping people to understand how education is formed and how it's molded and how it sometimes is taken advantage of as an institution in this country. And when I talk to you, man, you help remind me that if I get that 1, 2, or 3 people that are just appreciative of the work I'm doing a good thing, man. I want to say thank you for that.
Man, you're welcome first, brother. But brother, that never changes, man. I don't care. I do the same thing, family. Yeah. I feel the same way. I'm like, I mean, I look at someone like Charlemagne the God, you know, these platforms that I report on, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, man, damn, man, if I could just have more reach to have more of an impact. That's the thing, is feeling like you got something to say that's important, that's beneficial to the community. And you're like, man, how do I get it out to more people, man? So I want to tell you, you do reach more people than you realize.
Okay.
That's always the case, because I look at it, for every person that leaves a comment, there's 10 others, 20 others, 100 others who didn't. Okay. But they feel the same way. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That they're commenting for others. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
As in anything, there's not always that many volunteers.
You know, and that's what, you know, that's the truth, because it's been times, but I guess because I've got into the content making space, content creation space, I now make sure I leave a comment. But before, I would just watch it and like, yeah, that was a good point, and then move on to the next. But I guess now that I'm on this side of it, I understand the value. And so I'm going to tell people, if you're listening to Brother Tim Black, or if you listen to All Things Education Official, let us know you're out there, because we like to build off the things that you're saying, because we can't have this without you. Your commentary, your feelings are so important to us, because we need to know what the real pulse of the streets are, not this mainstream stuff. We need to know what the people are talking about.
And Doc, especially for you, man, considering the fact you are a doctor, and you come from a learned position of actual, not just what you think, your feelings. You coming from a standpoint of, this is the discipline that I've learned. This is how I've studied. This is from doing an investigation of facts, right? So you're going to have people that lurk around your page just trying to soak up that knowledge, bro. Just trying to soak up those facts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I studied hard to get the doctorate, but what I learned, the most important thing I learned, is that there's so much more to learn. That's the most important thing I've learned. And I am a specialty, so to speak, in one very, very small area of education. But what it's done is opened me up to listening and learning from so many different people now. I'm more open to anyone who has good information. So I'm always going to recommend that you keep those letters coming to Brother Black. You reach out to me via my email, and let it be known some of the things that are important to you, so I can start to do the research. And Brother Black can do the research and get you the real deal information in real time. So that's important. Thank you, sir.
Hey, no doubt, Doc. Man, give them your email since you mentioned it. You want to make sure they know what that is. Yeah.
It is Dr. Abdullah at allthingseducationofficial.com. Just how you spell it. DrAbdullah at allthingseducationofficial.com.
Yeah, there's no problem. And we can also put that in the description as well. So they can reach out to you along with your channel and all that other good stuff, man. All right. But, you know, since we're on the topic, now we're going to talk about the government shutdown and all the impacts on education and that stuff. But before we do that, man, because you just lit me up, man, when you was talking about how you never stop learning, right?
Yeah.
Did you pay attention to that back and forth between the Breakfast Club? Well, not the Breakfast Club, but Native Pod, Tiffany Cross, Angela Rye, Gillum, and Bakari, and who was it? Stephen A. Smith. No. I'm sorry. Marc Lamont Hill.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's so many layers to that. I mean, when you start talking about just the elitism that they exhibit and all that stuff, and it speaks volumes when you got people who live in bubbles talking to those of us who do not. I don't know what that lifestyle is like. I don't know what it means to chum up and cozy up.
Doc, if you don't mind, man, from your perspective, paint the picture for people who don't know. Paint your perspective picture of what took place there, what that was all about.
Okay, first and foremost, I think there's still looking down on Mr. Lamont Hill, and I'm going to definitely respect everyone on your channel. And I'm going to say that Marc Lamont Hill has a very torrid relationship with the people. I would say that ever since he became a part of the Joe Budden podcast, he has become a little bit more ingratiated to the people.
Right.
People starting to see a little bit more realism from him. And that's starting to scare some of his former, compadres. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that he's starting to get down in the dirt with us, so they're looking at him like, how dare you run around in the dirt with these guys when you're supposed to be up here with us? So now you got people apologizing for the way they're coming off, but don't apologize. That's how you really feel. You really feel like shouldn't be where he is. He should be there with you.
Right.
Giving the people your version of events, giving people your ideology and spouting out all the shield points and perspectives. And, and I'm just going to say it like it is. And I would say I'm so happy that he's now with the Joe Budden podcast, because now we get to see him really tested under fire, because the real deal is being discussed there.
There it is.
And I like it.
Yeah, man. I was just wondering what you felt. I mean, that's pretty much the same way I came up on it. I looked at it like it's a bunch of elites, man, having conversations. And you know what? They can't really help it, man. I mean, they're in the upper echelons of the Democratic Party apparatus.
That's who they are, man. These guys they got people that we see on television every day on speed dial, man. There you go. The question is, some people say you only would dream to have those people on speed dial. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, because the moment I get one of them on there, the rest will never deal with me ever again. I can't even imagine, especially right now with your man Chuck Schumer. He's under such fire. Wow. Can you imagine him on the Tim Black Show?
Man. He would, he would never do that, man. Right. I can't imagine him coming on, but yeah, I could see it. I mean, we've had other great, well-known Democrats on before. That's the whole thing, man. But they don't want to answer any tough questions, fam.
No,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They don't want to have those conversations, man. But I will disclose this, like, Bakari Sellers, man, I wouldn't say beef, but I had a bone to pick with him, right?
Yeah.
Because years ago, when we were both supporting Senator Nina Turner in Ohio, and of course we differ on politics. I consider myself way more rebellious, independent, definitely not a Democratic operative. And he is a Democratic. I mean, he was a state senator, I think. What was a state assemblyman, or I forget exactly what his role was, but he's definitely a pundit. And for the Democratic Party, he's, that's what he does. Okay, so that's who he is. When we see him, I see a Democrat.
That's all you see. That's all you see.
That's right. And the brother, when I met him in Ohio, remember, I had my entire family with me, man. I took all my sons, and we went down there. We helping Nina. We knocking on doors. I'm giving speeches. Bakari giving speeches. That brother act like he ain't even see me there. He act like it's a closed setting.
Right.
And so I'm kicking it with Danny Glover. I'm talking with Dr. West because we got a relationship. We cool. Nina Turner's whole family, and Bakari's standing there like he can't speak. And Killer Mike was there. So Killer Mike was cool. I'm sitting down. I got another interview with Killer Mike. We talking. He took pictures with me and my son. Made my son's day because my son loved Run the Jewels and Killer Mike.
Okay, yeah.
My oldest son, right? My youngest son was like, that's that rapper guy. Yeah. And I'm like, Bakari was acting like standoffish.
Right.
So one day I brought it up recently on the show, just talking like I do. and it got back to Bakari. Bakari called me.
Okay, all right.
I didn't have his number.
But he found yours. He found yours, didn't he?
There you go. He didn't tell me how he got it. He said, somebody told me that by word of mouth, I was told, relayed to me that you had some issues, whatever. And I'm like, what? What? You know what I'm saying? Actually, he didn't call me. He texted me. I'm sorry. He texted me. And he typed that out. I'm like, okay, this is really him. Okay. But, we chatted a little bit. It was just kind of clearing the air a little bit. And I will say I respect that. I respect that he was like, yo, I didn't mean to disrespect you and your wife and your kids, definitely. I didn't mean to be, standoffish or whatever. So I will give him that. And of course, I've had conversations with other brothers and sisters on the channel, man. But there's always a distance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm aware I got to keep a distance.
Right. Because the bottom line, the closer you get to power, the further away you get away from the people.
That's
just a fact.
Brother, when you meet brothers in real life, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to talk on the internet. You be talking about people and you meet them in real life, man, and you don't want to criticize people you know.
Right.
We human beings. I know we're supposed to be able to separate, but we're a human being. And if you have a relationship with someone, then that can dull your senses, dull your criticism.
I got you.
And you got to divulge, look, I rock with this person. Now, I'm not on those terms with Bakari or with Van Lathan, even though he's been on the show, or Michael Singleton, but we've had words, we've spoken. It's different when you just talk about people you don't know. They're not even human beings. They're the entities.
Yeah. I think a lot of times the art of relationship building is lost, and I know that I learned this by being in education, that it's relational and it's not transactional. Once you build a relationship with people, the dynamic of everything involved with them changes.
Right.
And like you said, you had an actual conversation with him.
Right.
So now moving forward, anything that you do, you're going to reflect back on that conversation, I would suspect.
Now he told me, he said, look, man, and he said, look, I'm not doing this for you to take it easy on me. I'm not doing it for you to dull your criticism, and that's good.
That's good.
I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Right. I made a commitment to myself. I had to learn the hard way that you can't, your craft got to come before your personal feelings.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You could be respectful.
Oh, yeah.
But you can still let their ass have it, though.
Yep. Respectfully. You say respectfully.
Respectfully. With all due respect. You know how they do in the political speak.
That's right. With all due respect, and then they let you have it.
They build you up. Oh, yeah, Sister Crockett is intelligent. She's smart. She's savage. She's charismatic. She knows how to connect with people. She communicates her thoughts so well. But
respectfully,
I gotta say.
That's right.
Why she got to be dropping F-bombs on the president of the United States? And then
right.
Act like she a victim. Oh, my God. He just got through saying he's Hitler.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Right. He's a fascist. You didn't know? You didn't read about it? Absolutely.
If you're not supposed to cuss out Hitler, what you expect's going to happen?
It's something going to be a little backlash, I would suspect, right?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Either he's the devil or he's not. Either he's Hitler or he's not. Now, if he's Hitler, you should expect Hitler to retaliate, right?
I have a question for you, brother. I just got to ask. And I know you've covered it, but I've been going back and forth with people. Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you a question, brother. This is me. I'm going to speak for myself. What I've had people talk to me so much about how she represents the people, and you got to get behind her, and I'm maybe there's something I missed. I know you've covered it, but is there something I'm missing? Because I'm trying to see where she has moved the needle for the people. I don't know. Maybe I missed out on something in her district that's no longer there anymore. Was there something that she was doing that her constituents were talking about that we missed?
Man, I think, and that's a good question, family. I think what it is what she represents.
Okay.
I think the tone in which she talks, I think her conduct, I think everything about what she presents, it just hits home for so many people. It feels so familiar. You know what I'm saying? It feels like that's auntie, or that's sister girl, or that's my cousin, or that's my daughter. And as Black Americans, we always have this Achilles heel. You know, where when we relate to someone in a certain way, we have an issue with giving them criticism. You know, I've gotten backlash too, brother, a lot of it.
Okay.
You got to ride for that sister. I'm like, why? Well, y'all don't say nothing when I go after Clyburn.
Oh, no, they don't say anything about that. They let that ride, don't they?
They let that ride. Tim Scott, get him, Tim, get him. Get Tim Scott. So they're real selective. Like, they didn't care when I called out Omarosa or Candace Owens or whoever. Candace Owens got the biggest podcast in the world. They don't care.
Ain't that something?
She black.
Yeah, the last time I checked, she was blackish at least.
She looked black.
She looked black.
She a tether.
Right, definitely that. But, she's blackish. There it is. Okay, I wanted to know, brother. I was just trying to get your insight because I've watched her. I was watching interviews from her pre committee hearings and I was like, this is not the same person.
Right.
This seems very performative, and then I started to research her background. I was like, well, when did she encounter people who convey their messaging like this? When did she meet them? After college? Did she meet them in the? I was just curious. Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate you, brother, giving me some insight to make sure I'm not crazy.
No, you're not crazy at all, man. I feel exactly the same. I feel like when did this, so that was my criticism. Like, fam, like, don't cosplay, and also I'm like, as an OG, I feel like there are young Black women that are impressionable. I don't want them to get the wrong signal that they can conduct themselves this way in corporate America.
Because you can't.
Because you cannot.
You cannot.
You cannot.
It's not an option. It's not an option.
It's not an option.
It will bounce you out of there so fast, and then you'll be sitting around saying, well, it worked for this one. Why can't it work for me? Yeah. All right. I wanted to make sure. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Very successful. Look, very successful. We all know who she is. That took a lot of work. I will give her that. Like, I would say, to go from no one knowing you as a freshman and being where she is on the radar.
Yeah.
That took a lot of. She got natural ability. I think she just needs to do something else. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like,
I would say she needs to bring something that enhances the resume. Show us some policies. Show us something that you've done for your constituents to say, I want to do this for the nation. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that. And I've just been waiting.
Yeah.
I'm in a group chat with a group of friends of mine, and we were talking, and I'm getting a lot of flack from them. Oh, you got to support her. She's speaking for us. And I said, well, can you tell me something she's done? Can she tell me something she's done?
Calling Trump a piece of shit is not speaking for us.
We can hear that all day long.
Right. We do. I hear that all day on YouTube or on TikTok.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't see how that helps. No. But you know what though? If she does something that's amazing, if she does, initiate some groundbreaking new direction, if she does something that is applaudable, I'm going to applaud it. I'm going to stand up for it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll criticize, but I will also appreciate. And like I say, like when Stephen A. Smith was calling her out, like, I disagree with Stephen A.
Okay.
I disagree with him. Not that he criticized her, but the reason why.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what she calls Trump. Like, I'm not here to protect Trump.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to save his feelings.
That's right.
Trump's the president of the United States. She could say, her saying those things to him, to me, are not worthy of my criticism. What I was criticizing was the performative nature. I felt like it was phony.
Yeah.
And then a couple of responses that she's had about certain topics, such as reparations, left a lot to be desired, bro.
Absolutely. I just don't believe we are going to have someone to that level of politics who will say, I support cash payments for foundational Black American freedmen. I just don't see it, because once that person begins to express that level of enthusiasm towards that type of policy, they're no longer going to be in the forefront.
No longer going to be in the forefront.
Nope.
That's it. You know what? Sadly, I believe that's possible. Yeah. That don't mean I can't criticize her for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with you. And what blows me away is that we have these politicians who are of that lineage. They are descendants of American slavery, and they still will not champion us receiving our just due, which is a debt owed, but they will champion policies for every other group. I just don't understand that, but that's just a whole nother conversation. We can do that all night too, brother.
Yeah, that's the rule. That's the rule. The rule is do for others, not for the Blacks.
Yes, right. As long as you don't do for the Blacks, you're okay.
As long as you don't do for the Blacks.
Right. But I remember I reached out to you because I was just sitting back, reading articles, talking to people I know in educational leadership. And I remember I did a video. It was very interesting. I did a video back in March of 2025. Didn't get a lot of play, but I had to get it out there when I talked about how Trump wanted to reformat and disrupt and get rid of the Department of Education. And we talked about that, you and I. And I was telling you, I said, I need to know, what does the Department of Education do? I have never met a person who said they've been to the Department of Education, has ever called the Department of Education, emailed the Department of Education, has received a call or an email from the Department of Education. I need to know how they are affecting change in the lives of children in the public educational sphere. And no one can ever tell me what they do. And so I said, well, I'm going to put that out there, let people judge it as they see fit, do their own research, and get back with me. Now, people wanted to, during this shutdown, I'm not sure if you heard it, but me being in the educational space, we were told how it was going to kill public education, how children were going to suffer. And I'm going to tell you something, brother, but my ear to the ground, working with people in schools, working with leaders, assistant superintendents, and a superintendent I've had conversations with, they was like, that did not affect us one bit, this shutdown.
Wow.
Not one bit.
Wow.
Blew my mind. I said, wait a second. Brother. Not one bit? They said, man, we already got our funding a year in advance. What are you talking about? They said, now, if it goes for a whole year, then it'll affect us. If it goes another, I'm talking about from this point, another year, which we know is not going to happen. We already just experienced the longest shutdown in history.
Correct.
Right. So they say it would have to go on for another full year for it to affect them. And do you know, brother, who was affected the most during the shutdown in education? The Department of Education.
It makes sense because it's at the federal level.
I think it was read that they furloughed 90% of their staffing. 90%. And the one thing they talked about the most was the Individual with Disabilities Education Act, how that would be disrupted. No, sir. Already paid forward. They had paid it forward already. So that money was already given for the year.
Wow.
So I just wanted people to hear from a person who that's their thing. Education's my thing. I don't have a lot of things, but that's one of them.
Right.
That the big boogeyman of your children won't learn and your children won't have the funds and resources. Teachers were already digging in their pockets anyway. They continue to dig in their pockets. Not one educator missed a paycheck, unless, now I need to be clear on the whole thing. Some funding may have been disrupted if, and this is a very small population, if you were on tribal lands. districts because they get the majority, if not almost all of their funding directly from the federal government.
Got it.
Right. Yeah. So if you were on tribal lands or if your district relied heavily upon federal dollars, but those are few and far between. The majority of districts rely on their state, city, and county budgeting, and a lot of people don't know property taxes, the property taxes that you pay,
right?
80% of every dollar goes to public education.
Wow.
So just be aware that a lot of that money so when you're paying your property taxes, if you own a home, you're paying property tax, you own a business, that money, 80% of it goes to public
80%.
education. 80%. So the coffers, depending on your city and state, are pretty heavy. So you had enough money to definitely get you through this shutdown. And it just proved that the Department of Education as an entity is not as necessary as people have brainwashed many of us into believing.
And I think that's going to be very bad. That's going to be a bad return on the Democrats as far as making the claim that the Department of Education is something that we need to have.
Yeah.
Because I knew there was going to be blowback for this. And first of all, this shutdown, based on all my research, it was spearheaded by the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And that, what they end up getting for it, after going 40 days, and as you stated, setting the record for a shutdown period of time, what they got for it was the same thing they would have got if they would have called off the strike or called off the government shutdown after day one.
Yep. You got exactly what they would have gotten.
Exactly what they would have got. So this could have went a lot less time. This maybe shouldn't have happened at all, but it definitely should have been ending, they say, in the first couple of days.
Right.
And what it does, Doc, I think it sets up a bad precedent to say, okay, now Trump can go back and look at everything that was shut down and say, well, it looks like we didn't need it because we were able to survive without it, right?
There you go. Thank you, brother, for saying it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, because that was my thought process. I was like, how do you justify the Department of Education now when nothing would disrupt it and you got rid of 90% of their staffing? 90%? Name anything that can survive with 90% of it being gone.
I can't name it. Look, I'm sounding like Kamala Harris, but not a thing comes to mind.
Not a thing comes to mind, brother. I was actually pretty happy though that part happened. Of course, I think I was really upset about what was happening, in particular with the TSA workers.
Okay.
That really bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
And it was bothering me, the idea that the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act could have been disrupted. I said, but this doesn't make sense. That's one of our most vulnerable populations. So let me look into it. And when I looked into it, I said, oh man. I made a call to one of my friends who's a superintendent in Michigan. And he said, oh no, that money's been earmarked. We're good. He said, I would never make those students suffer. But what I did understand was that if you're going to have only grant writing or grant making pause, that's the only thing they said that was really paused. Okay. Grant allocation or grant making. But that department can always be put into another department. It can be folded into another sector of the federal government. You don't need an entire department for that. And the truth of the matter is our children are in need every day of so many services that teachers are being burnt out because they're supplying de facto social emotional learning services. You're talking about myself when I was a dean of students in New Jersey. I doubled. I have a master's of social work as well. So I doubled as a social worker, a dean of students. I did trainings for my staff for harassment, intimidation, and bullying. And these are all things I did because they were necessary. But if you filtered that money that's being pushed into the Department of Education, you could hire someone to do harassment, intimidation, and bullying. You can hire someone who does trainings on social emotional learning for the staff. You can have a social worker to do counseling for students specifically. And then you can have a guy like myself who could deal with the parents and the students for behavioral or psychosocial issues that come up on a day-to-day basis. Our children need a lot of services. And so much of that money is going to fund people who don't even deal directly with children. And I think that's always been one of my biggest issues.
That bureaucracy, brother, is just the people with the red tape. I mean, a go-between between you guys and the money is what it appears that the federal Board of Education really serves, is just the hand that passes you the money. But of course, after they take a little slice off the top, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to also bring up that I want people, your listeners, to know, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're paying taxes, you have property tax, it would behoove you to know what your local school board is doing. Please take upon yourself to attend a school board meeting, find out what your tax dollars are being spent on. And I'm going to tell you, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have some questions. I think one of the reasons why public education is the way it is because, one, you have people who are not educators making the rules,
right?
But you don't have people who are investing their money, time, and energy into education, questioning the rules that they're making. So I implore people, just find out the schedule, and get the schedule, print it up, put it on your refrigerator. And if you got a free day, a free moment, log on. Because a lot of times school board meetings are now online.
Right.
Log on just to hear what's going on, or just pop up to find out what's going on, because you need to know how your money's being spent. And if you have a child in schools, specifically if you have them in public school, find out what they're teaching your child. I'm going to tell you, you're not going to be really happy. I'm going to tell you that. And if you don't have a child in school, understand, if you did have children, or if there's a child on your block, that child is your future, and you got to invest. And sometimes just your time.
Yeah. That's a very important point you just made there, brother, because even if you don't have children, those children will impact your life. These are the future.
Yeah.
Right? They impact your community, i.e. the quality of life that you have, you and your family, you and your spouse, I should say, and maybe your parents, and the overall, ability for that community to thrive. So you can't just look at it like, well, I don't have kids, so why am I concerned? Well, unless you live in a very rural area where you don't interact with human beings.
That's right.
Grow your own food and tend to your own business out there somewhere in the sticks. I mean, you're gonna have to, bump up against some people at some point, at some time.
Absolutely.
It might be good for those people to be sustainable, have an education system that supports them, have resources, have access. These things are mandatory, man, for the betterment of the community of those children and therefore the society at large, man.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, just the impending doom that was propagated with the shutdown had communities in an uproar. I mean, nervous. I mean, you saw it in the grocery stores, you saw it in the stores, wherever you went. People, it was a part of conversation. I'm at the grocery store around the way from my home, and I'm hearing people talk about it in line. Like, I better hurry up and get this food because there might be a rush in here soon because they're gonna take away these benefits, and and I was like, wow. But I'm gonna bring up somebody by the name of Miss Linder. She is one of the most amazing principals in education I've ever worked alongside, and she was a principal. She retired out of the New York City Department of Education. And she lived 2 blocks from her school where she worked.
Wow.
And I said, do you feel uncomfortable working this close to your home? And she said, well, I grew up in this area. I was raised here. I taught here, and I wanted to lead here. And she said, me working with these children, it's a personal investment. She said, because every child, and she always says this, for every child that I give a better lesson to, that's one less person I got to worry about crawling through my back window. You know, and I that was the most amazing, hilarious, but true statements I ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I'm going to keep me teaching these children how to respect me, keeps them out of my house when I'm gone.
She keeps it real. You said Mrs. Linder?
Miss Linder. She worked at the Newport School. That's right, in Brooklyn, New York. She was amazing. She retired and she did an intern. I did my internship under her, and she was amazing, man. She was amazing. We need more educators like her.
Man, shout out to Miss Linda, man. That's a fantastic. I love the realness, man. The real aspect there. Yeah. I got skin in the game.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I got skin in the game. You know, it's not just somebody else's kids. These are our kids.
Our children.
Our children, brother.
Yeah. I tell students I tell parents too. Listen to I learned this from a young lady a long time ago. She used to always say this to me. I never really got it. She would say to me, I heard what you said, but also heard what you didn't say. You know, and I never really got it until I got into education. And I'm going to tell something to the audience, specifically the parents. Listen to the way your teachers and administrators, aides, whoever in the schoolhouse refers to children. Watch how they refer to them. If it's those kids, these kids versus our children. That's a big difference. I'm telling you. Also, look for the room that is immaculate and sparkling clean. Those are the dangerous rooms.
Wow.
I don't trust a teacher who has an immaculate desk.
What?
I don't. Because my thing is this, if you're invested in children, you don't have time to clean up your desk. You don't have time. Right? You know, unless you're doing it every day after work and you don't have time. But if the teacher or the administrator or whoever that's working with children is saying stuff like those kids, these kids, be on alert. It's not what they said, it's what they didn't say. They didn't say our children. They're othering your child. And your child isn't in something that they're willing to invest in. So they push that child away and put it as the other. So when it goes left, and it does go left a lot, when it goes left, they can say, that's not my kid. My kid wouldn't do that. You know, but when they take ownership and invest in your child, they was like, yeah, my son or my niece or my daughter or my little girl, she did this again. And they own it. And they think of ways to help you redirect that child and get that child on par, or they're willing to go out of their way to provide services for that child, even if it's themselves until the real service comes in to save the day.
That's right.
You got to look for those things. That's so important.
It is a viral video going out right now. I think it's on TikTok, and I think I saw it on X, where this woman calls up to some churches. Have you seen this? She called up a couple churches and says, you know, I'm a single mom and I have a newborn and I need some baby, not milk, formula. I need some baby formula. I need it bad. And she had a recording of a baby crying. So she's playing that in the background.
Wow.
And she's calling these churches in the local area and saying, what can you do? Can you help me? Can you help me with some formula? Do you know she called about 30, it sounded like 30 churches because she's got video calling them.
Right.
And they were turning her away. We're talking $20.
Man.
Yeah, I'm a, you know, my baby's crying. We need some formula. Is there anything you could do? And they're like, well, you know, are you a member here?
Ooh.
Othering. The church othering an infant, not grown people calling up, hey, I need my rent paid. You got a couple grand laying around? No, we're talking about formula. And then look, here's the kicker. Hold up, Doc. The kicker's this. There were 3 churches out of all those calls that responded by saying, we can help you. Where are you at? What can we do? How can we get to you?
Ain't that something? 3 out of 30?
It looked like 30. It was a lot. I don't know the exact number, but it was a lot because the video goes on for like 5 minutes. And because she records the conversation, you can hear them turn her down. It's not hearsay. You can hear the conversation and all. 3, there were 2 black churches, and I forget the denomination, but it was 2 black churches, and it was 1 mosque. There was like, where you at? Come on over. Look, I don't know exactly how we're going to do it. I'll give you the money myself.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, right? We'll figure it out. You know,
we're talking about $20, Doc.
Brother. I just did a video doing a comparison and contrast between single moms, single dads in 2-parent homes. Mm. And one of the things I discussed was about how in the video, it was just a real small clip when I discussed about how the religious institutions, and I also discussed into the last video I did, which is the 6 money lessons that Jewish families teach their children that the Black American community could benefit from. And I discussed about how a lot of these preachers, pastors, and imams, which are religious leaders in the masjid, because I'm Muslim, sometimes, more so in the Black American Christian tradition, though, they're very adept when it comes to making money for themselves. But they haven't taught the community how to be self-sufficient. Mm. And I personally am of the mindset that no church should ever close. No masjid should ever close. There should always be somebody staffing that place because they're making enough money that they should feed the people, clothe the people,
right,
and educate the people. You know, and to hear that this woman was asking for formula. Whoever was on that phone should have said, come on in, I got you $20.
Yep.
Or as a matter of fact, meet me at the church. By the time you get here, I'll have the formula for you.
There it is.
You know, I just think that we are allowing everyone else to raise our children.
Right.
You know, no one's saying that this is a community effort. And that was the number 1 rule of my last video, which is community is number 1. And the one thing, and people love to, you're going to say the Jews and this. I said, well, no, I don't care about all of that. What I care about is the way they learn how to structure community so that everybody wins.
Yeah.
You can learn from that. They're giving you a blueprint. And I'm a New Yorker. I live in New York. I know how they operate. They build a synagogue, and then they build everything around it. All their businesses are around it.
Right.
And education, they have private school, and it doesn't matter how much money you make. You're going to that school.
Wow.
So you got kids that got a lot of money, kids that have very little money, and they're all in the same school.
Same school.
Because they're all going to put in and they're all going to survive. And I was thinking, like, how are these people living in New York City where the average rent, market rate for a 1-bedroom is about $2,000?
Tell it.
How are they living? That's because they're paying they're getting each other jobs. So you're going to work for me. Right. And I'm going to make sure you have a living wage. And on top of it, I'm going to make sure that the guy who's renting your apartment is charging you enough that he can make a little bit of money, but that you can still survive.
Right.
You know, no one's going to do without in our community. And I'm like, this is the blueprint. So that experiment that the young lady did of calling those churches, that's not a thing in their community. That's not a thing.
It ties back into what you were saying about teachers when you're talking about othering. You know, of course, that churches, that would have been someone who was known to the church, maybe one of those people that helped run the church. Of course, they wouldn't have been in that position. They would have been able to get aid.
Yep.
But since they didn't know them, they were not in part of the inner circle, then other. And that othering happens not only, if it's going to happen, you know, in teaching of education, you know, if it happens in churches, family, come on, it happens in politics. You hear people, you listen to the language of some of our politicians, and when they talk about Black Americans, are they including themselves or are they othering that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As opposed to, saying the Black Americans, they are Americans. We are Black Americans, but we still Americans. So aren't we entitled to certain things?
Mm-hmm.
Certain things just be a part of the package, the American package, the American dream. Shouldn't we benefit somewhere in that scheme of things? Not just you're lucky to be here,
right?
Because if that's the case, we're all just lucky to be here. But the othering, brother, I think that is, I spend so much time, and I'm going to tell you, I have had I would say spirited discussions with colleagues who othered children.
Wow.
I've had spirited discussions that had to be had to be intervened by leadership.
Wow.
Because someone referred to a child as that child, or I know how they are, and who's the they? What do you mean that child?
Right.
You mean my brother over there? Right. My sister over there? What do you mean? So brother, I would say that you need to find the educators in your building who are not just there late, but are actively there late.
Yeah.
Or actively there early.
Right.
Who your child comes and talks about all the time. Because one thing I know is that the teacher who lets your child get away with murder, the child doesn't even remember that teacher.
Wow.
They remember the one that holds them accountable. So that's the teacher that your child is talking about all the time. And you need to get to know that educator.
I think deep down, man, children are very, very intelligent. And they have a sense of who cares about their well-being and who doesn't.
Oh, man, yeah.
Who's invested. And I know when I was a kid, I could tell. I could tell. And if a teacher, just because a teacher was hard on me, it's the way they were.
Woo! There you
they had expectations of me. You know what I'm saying? They had a standard. They didn't just try to push me through the process.
Nope.
They saw something and they wanted me to achieve that. And I remember, man, I'm old as I am, I remember my 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Hayes.
That's right.
I had a 3rd grade teacher, Miss Alzafato.
Ain't that something?
Alzafato, yeah, and she was amazing.
Yeah.
She was amazing. She believed in her brother. I remember my mom went up to school. She was expecting to hear, because I'm thinking 2nd and 3rd grade, had some behavioral issues.
Right.
And she was expecting to hear that. Timmy's been doing this. He's been doing that. And she was like, my mom said, she's like, ask the teacher, okay, let me brace myself. What did he do? She's like, nothing. Timmy is so amazing and he's so bright. And my mom just lit up, man.
That's right.
From the story, because she had cracked. She gave me expectations.
That's right.
And I didn't want to let Miss Alzafato down.
There you go.
She gave me responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And that's key, man. That's key. Man, I forgot you from New York, brother. I can't let you go without talking about Mamdani.
Woo, brother. Let me tell you something. It was pins and needles out here, brother.
What?
It was, it was so crazy out here on the ground because I'm watching it go down. I'm literally watching people have these conversations about leaving New York if Mamdani wins.
Right.
Then I got people saying, but who do we got to choose from? I saw people who during COVID wanted to drive to Albany and find Cuomo.
What?
Now talk about, well, he's our only hope.
Wow.
I was like, listen, my issue with Mamdani is that I know that he doesn't understand that this is a rub and elbows and grease the wheel city. You're not just going to come in and give people stuff. It's just not going to happen. I understand you might have good intentions, but I think where he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way is particularly Black Americans who actually voted for him is during his acceptance speech.
I just put that video out.
Oh, man, you got it. You had to hear the conversations out here, man.
Man.
Because you got to understand that there's always, and people don't like to talk about it, but I can, because I'm not a native New Yorker.
Okay.
See, I was born in Detroit.
Got you.
I spent my primary years in Detroit. So the native New Yorkers and their parents and their grandparents, there's all, specifically Black Americans, there's always this little tension between the Black American population and the immigrant population. It's there. And for him to say, with all the contributions that we've made to this city, this nation, what New York is known for, a lot of what they're known for was created by Black Americans.
Yep.
And for you to say this city was created by immigrants, built by immigrants, maintained by immigrants, man, you lost a lot of people. But a lot of people were upset that they voted for him after that one.
Yeah, I got two things I got to run by you, man.
Sure.
In regards to that. First is, a number of my people, when I was going through the statistics. Come on, Tim. I was going through the statistics about the voters, right? Now, this is exit polls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exit polls came out and they showed that Black men, 56%, the largest group of people that voted for Mamdani were Black men at 56%.
Yeah.
Largest group of men. Now, people are saying, but Tim, those are immigrants. And I'm like, bruh, but the polls have an other section. They have Black men, white men, Latino men, Asian men, and then they have other. Wouldn't those people fall into the other category?
They would, but they don't. They don't choose other. They choose Black. And that is why the delineation movement has become so imperative. Because right now, as you can see, you don't know who really voted for him.
That's it, brother.
You don't know.
That's it, man.
Brother, once you begin to disaggregate that data, it's a different ball game. Because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times, and this is no disrespect to my immigrant cousins, but when you start to look at some of the crimes that occur in New York City, in New York, we know who did what based on where it occurred.
Okay.
We can be like, oh, that happened where? Oh, yeah, that was a Caribbean. That was somebody else Caribbean. Oh, it happened where? Oh, yeah, most likely that was somebody who was continental African. But when it hits the news, what does it say? Black. So a lot of people who are moving for delineation, specifically when you start talking about politics, you start people that are saying, well, a lot of Black people did this. Yeah. Melanated, definitely.
Right.
Were they Black American?
Right.
And a lot of Black Americans have given up on the whole voting process out here. Man.
You know what, fam? That's what people were trying to tell me. And I was like, but see, my thing was they just voted for Eric Adams, right? Did we vote for Eric Adams? I think we did.
We did because we thought, well, a lot of us didn't. And I'm going to tell you why a lot of Black men didn't.
Okay.
Because he was a cop. And we have a torrid relationship with NYPD, period. You know, it's very rare. I don't know many of us who say we have a Black friend who's NYPD that we like. We know some Black guys on the NYPD.
Right.
You say, I know a couple of guys on NYPD. They're your friends? No, I didn't say that. I said I knew them. You know? Right. So that's a thing.
Wow.
Then Eric Adams did not appeal to us. We didn't see him as one of us.
Right.
You know, not to mention, keeping it honest, he's Caribbean.
There it is.
We got to just put it all out there, you know, and we got to just be honest about the relationships, you know, that exist out here. And we, you know, they say we voted for Eric Adams. Well, did we? When you say we, who's the we?
It's like, because we so busy voting for the damn Democrats. It's just because it's a blue state and it's a Democrat. And predominantly we vote Democrat.
And every time we get the shaft.
Damn.
And I'm saying, and I've been pushing everybody I know that will listen, just register yourself as an independent.
Independent, brother.
Vote policy, not personality.
There it is. Or complexion. Or complexion.
Come on. That's not going to do anything for you. You looking like me doesn't mean a thing.
That's it.
Doesn't mean a thing. I need to know what's your policy stance.
The other part of that, one was, okay, so I'm glad I got a great audience, man, that was able to say, Tim Black, I love you, bruh, but I don't think that was brothers that voted for him like that. I said, but I got the data. They're like, that data. Don't trust that data, Tim Black. So FBA Queen and Nene and the other people that were in the comment section last night on the show, I put out a video, already corrected myself earlier, just before we hooked up today. I put out a video. And now I got you on the show. The other thing was, there's backlash that they gave Van Jones because Van Jones criticized Mamdani. He said Mamdani's speech was divisive. He said the speech was over the top and it seemed confrontational instead of unifying, right? And Mehdi Hassan, formerly of MSNBC, Charlemagne, they were together. They gave Van Jones donkey of the day.
For that,
For that. And they had all these complaints. Torrey weighed in. All these New York folks weighed in about how horrible Van Jones was for criticizing Mamdani. But here's the thing, bruh. Damn it. I feel like Van Jones, even though I disagree with his criticism and the way it was, because I think Mamdani has given spirited speeches before. When you see him doing rallies, he's always like, he's trying to pump up the people. He just won the election, so he's gonna be pumped up. He was combative because that's what he's been doing, if you paid attention. But my thing was, Doc, they weren't upset about the thing where he gave all the credit to the immigrants.
No.
None of them.
And see, there you go. See what I'm talking about? That's why I say you are following people who are aligned with a party and not a policy. Because that was a red flag. Well, first of all, let's be clear. When I heard about him claiming that he was African American, that put me on alert.
So he Elon Musk now, huh?
Yeah, he put an Elon Musk on us, right? He's African American, which speaks to why we are now calling ourselves foundational Black Americans, Black Americans, Sulan, Freedmen. It speaks to that. That's number one. So once I heard that, I said, uh-oh. But then I started hearing about some of his policy proposals. I was like, well, how is that going to work? But there are things that he did not say that are very important to New Yorkers. He didn't talk about congestion pricing. And that was something that was so large that Trump spoke on it.
Is that like will your vehicle, if you drive at a certain time, you congestion for traffic, right?
Well, congestion pricing now, we are charged to go into Manhattan below 61st Street.
That's it.
It's $9 a pop.
Damn.
Yeah, so they're going to charge me. That's like me charging you to go around the corner into the grocery store parking lot. It's right in your city. I'm a New York City resident. Why are you going to charge me to drive into New York?
So gas prices, upkeep on your vehicle, and you got to pay to go across the street.
Right. So, and who do you think is paying those tolls? The working peak, the working class individuals, those of us that work, we're paying that toll. Didn't speak on that. But then you got these guys that claim to be speaking for us, not bringing up the fact that this man said this city was built by immigrants.
Yep.
So we just going to totally just forget about Seneca Village.
That's it.
We're going to forget about Seneca Village, which is what Central Park used to be, which is all Black community. We're going to forget about that. Yeah. We're going to forget about something, that little small thing called the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah.
We're going to forget about that.
Right.
We're going to forget about that. We're going to forget about Bedford-Stuyvesant, one of the most affluent Black communities in Brooklyn, New York, which is the second largest borough, the second most densely populated borough in New York City. We're going to forget about that. We're going to forget about the neighborhoods that right now still have a heavy Black American population that helps power this city through taxation. We're going to forget about all those people. We're going to talk about the people who came in starting in the 60s, huh?
Yeah. Okay. That's as far back as their memories can go.
Right.
Yeah.
And that came in because
of us.
We fought for them to come in under the belief system that they would serve as reinforcements,
my brother,
in this social struggle, right? This social caste system. We believe they saw white supremacy the way we saw it. Little did we know that they did it.
Cozy right on up to white supremacy.
Ooh, felt good under it. Felt good, not nice and toasty under it.
That's it.
Like, we're not gonna fight it. We're gonna help it. You know, so yeah.
Look, I want to call out Charlemagne the God, Mehdi Hassan, Toure, and anybody else who was critical of Van Jones, but not critical of Mamdani and his bullshit, his whitewashing, his immigration washing, immigration washing of Black history in New York City.
And that's why we speak oftentimes in delineation spaces. We talk about this concerted effort to erase Black American contribution and culture from this nation's fabric.
Where's Roland Martin? Yeah.
Oh, please.
Roland Martin, where you at? You're supposed to be calling
this
out.
Please talk about it.
Van Lathan, why you haven't called it out? You got a bigger shoulder ringer. Bakari Sellers. See, everybody wants to talk about the easy shit. Going after Van Jones and going after Stephen A. Smith is easy.
That's low-hanging fruit.
That's low-hanging fruit, man. Go after your side of the ball. Go after your guy.
That's right.
Pull his ass up now and say, this will not be allowed.
No, but this is the thing. He really isn't their guy. That's the funny part. He's the guy they were forced to accept. You know, your boy Obama was right across the water.
Yep.
And wouldn't endorse him. Wouldn't come across to endorse him. He was right in New Jersey.
Yep.
Doing his endorsement thing over there, but would not come across the bridge to endorse Mamdani. So what does that tell you? But then again, you know, he's not batting. His stats and batting averages is pretty low because typically when he endorses somebody, they lose anyway. So,
wow.
You know, but he won without him, you know. But now, as I told everyone, I said they expected Trump to turn the nation around in 6 months.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to expect Mamdani to do in 6 months to New York City?
Man, they're going to come for him, man. You know, I think all of this was a foregone conclusion, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew he was going to win, fam. I mean,
oh yeah.
I don't know why they tried to string it out like this was a nail biter. I mean, I get it for the clicks and views, but come on, man. He easily, like Cuomo, he beat Cuomo very decisively in the primary. And It's like, okay, Cuomo, this guy had to retire. This guy resigned under duress, or he's going to get thrown out.
Absolutely.
For Italianing. What do you call it? I'm from Italy.
I'm Italian. What do you expect? You know, that type of thing.
I don't know how to treat women. That's how
what are you going to do? You know, yeah.
15 women or so, and then he killed 15,000 seniors.
Yeah. And, you know, one of those homes that some of the people died, it's right up the street from my home.
Oh, man.
It's a block up. Yeah. Wow. Some of those seniors died. Yeah.
Cuomo was so bad, Doc. Cuomo's so bad that he cost his brother his job. That's how bad he is.
When you get getting your family fired.
Got the family fired for trying to help you.
Man, listen, I'll tell you, it just goes to show how the politicians are so out of touch with the people. Because him losing that primary and then deciding to run independent, what that says is, you don't really know what you want. I know what you want.
There it is.
That's all he said to the public. And they were like, no, we're pretty sure we don't want you. We're pretty sure. And let's be honest, we're not gonna sugarcoat it. Mamdani was considered the lesser of the evils.
There it is.
It's not that he was great.
Right.
It's not people. No one's saying that Mamdani was great. They're saying that between him, Sliwa, and Cuomo, it was an easy choice.
Right. And that's bad considering he hadn't really done shit. You know, when you picking a team, you know, you pick a vet, you pick somebody that you know, you go to the combine, you look at the draft day, you've already looked at all your talent, you know what they can do, you've seen how they performed in college or you know, what they, you know, how they physically are gifted in what way and how they fit into the structure. But in the case of Mamdani, he has nothing to compare him to. And that's sort of how Obama got in.
Yeah. You didn't know what to expect, but he looked different.
He looked different. He talked different.
That's it. That's all we need.
Different talking points, the rhetoric.
Yep. He appealed to your base. That's what it was.
And the young people. And the young people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say that Mamdani definitely appealed to the youth,
right?
Because he was energetic. He was young. What is he? A late millennial.
Right.
You know, and they're looking at him like, hey, I could probably relate to this guy. He's a guy I probably could have went to school with, you know? And I'm saying, yeah, but you're still getting tricked by the identity politics. Yeah. He hasn't told you anything. He told you what he wanted, but he didn't tell you how he was going to do it. You know, we need that. We don't have time to play around with pie in the sky stuff. Not here in New York right now when everyone's struggling. Everyone's struggling, man. I'm talking... you know, you go to these little small bodegas, you seeing $7 gallons of milk and stuff like that. You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, I mean, no one's really winning right now. Everyone wants some relief. And he's promising you relief, but no, everyone's saying, well, how are you going to give it to us? I need to know. Help us out. And so I'm going to wait and see. You know, I'm very leery after that comment about immigrants building and making a New York City.
Right.
You know, that lets me know who is not at the forefront of his mind. You know, like I told you earlier, I heard what you said. I heard what you didn't say.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't say anything about us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we know that the dominant population, they're always at the forefront of the conversation without saying their name. They're going to be taken care of. But when you start talking about protected groups or groups that need to be protected groups, and you don't bring us up by name,
what?
That means you haven't considered us.
Yeah, we're an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
We're an afterthought, man.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, Doc, man, look, I appreciate your time. As always, brother, coming through and having this conversation. It flowed on from different topics, man, and thank you for putting voice to those issues, family. Big time, brother, big time.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, as always, man. Just to be in your company is great, man. It gives me great energy, and I just love to know that I am personally acquainted with somebody who's out there doing the work, putting himself on the line, and one of the most dangerous men in media right now. And I appreciate
look, man, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the props, fam. I tell you, they make it easy to be dangerous the way they all play it so safe. This guy is not, Mamdani not powerful at all yet. He ain't even in office, and they scared to criticize him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They scared to criticize him, man. They don't want to say nothing.
Ooh, we shall see.
All right, guys. Look, go see my brother, Dr. Abdullah, over at All Things Official. All Things Education Official. All Things Education Official. All Things Education Official. Family, go subscribe to this brother. Follow him. And we're going to put the links in the description box below. And look, we're going to have to definitely have you back again, brother. We might want to do this monthly, bro.
Listen, you know I'm up for it, brother. Being around you and just doing this, I could do it every month. I definitely could, brother.
That's it, man. Let's
Ask
do
the
it.
family if there's something they would like to see. I would love to accommodate.
Hey, look, man, they like to see it because I like to do it. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of not being funded by political parties.
All right.
We do what we want to do.
Absolutely. And I love it. I love it. I can speak freely with you. Thank you, sir.
That's it, brother.
All right.
All right, now, holler at you, man. Look, guys, don't forget to go see my brother over there, man. Check him out. All Things Official. It's All Things Education Official on YouTube, man. And I'm going to put all the description box below. But look, we got a show tonight. I got to go because I got to get prepped for this show. I ain't done nothing for my show yet. We got a show coming up at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to the Wolf Pack. Thank y'all for holding us down. And as always, don't let nobody take your cornbread. My name is Tim Black, and you've been watching the most dangerous politics show in America. Peace. Play some outro music, man.